Hello everyone, Switched Up here. This is going to be a little bit different, more not as a fair video, but more also based on my thoughts and beliefs about for one upcoming episode in season 9 of My Little Pony. This episode is called The Big Mac Question. This is actually the 24th episode of season 9 and also one of those last episodes. Well, actually, is the third last episode, and it's going to be taking away place of one character, Big Macintosh, or at least Big Mac, which is also called. But there is my question about the title of the episode, The Big Mac Question. What is going to happen in it? According to the wiki, MLP wiki, there isn't any information to go on at all, except the title, the name of the episode, and it's going to be based on, focused on Big Mac. When I actually found out about this episode yesterday, I was just really stunned. They actually announced the name of the season 9 of that particular episode. I mean, what will actually happen in this particular episode? When I first mentioned about this to my girlfriend, she thought, what about if that Big Mac is going to propose to Sugar Belle? Like to ask her the big question. And I thought, that might not be as a bad idea. Even if that might sorry, it might be could be either wrong about the end of the whole idea. I mean, there isn't any information to go on based on that, since iLab, all of this is lacked of information. But I think, and what she believes, that Big Mac is going to propose to Sugar Belle, and I think it is something that I believe that could happen also. I mean, if you think about it, Big Mac has been together with Sugar Belle for quite some time. And, I mean, there is something about Big Mac we haven't seen much about. Big Mac, he hasn't been focused on his own episode. The only thing that we know for sure that's Big Mac, he doesn't speak much. He has had his special moments in the part of this over these seasons, like when he take part of Philly Vanilli, when he was part of the Ponytones, and back in season 2 when he as Brotherhood Social, and in Dungeon Discourse in season 6, and even in season 7 when he became together with Sugar Belle in episode Hard to Say Anything. I mean, there is so much. And even back in season 8, he fought the breakdown when he believed Sugar Belle was going to break up with him. That episode really almost took my heart. I mean, we have seen him be shipped with many different ponies throughout with the fandom, like Marble Pie, Pinkie Pie, and the list goes on. And even Shiro Lee. Many ponies believe that she will end up with Big Mac, but it turns out that didn't actually never happen. Even though in the episode Philly Vanilli, when we're seeing Shiro Lee was fading just by herself when that Big Mac was singing, though that wasn't him. But even if though I mean, There is so much more about that, especially when they celebrate in Heartbreakers, when they surprise to celebrate the first Christmas or the Heartwarming Eve with the Pie family. And he actually seems to be like quick friends with Marble Pie, even though she's shy, and most of her communication was just as a And it seems to the end where they was blushing at when they was sitting next to each other, but then it did something you would not expect to happen. I mean, even this, even in the episode, this short movie, the best gift ever, we can see how Big Mac is kissing Sugar Bell with Marble Pie in the background. Hurt. That was also an indication that she had fallen in love with Big Mac. So why would instead not go out for have sort of I don't know an episode where Marble Pie admits her feelings for Big Mac, but she realized that he has already been taken by Sugar Bell and decides not to tell. That could have been a very much an interesting storyline for an episode. But I cannot say how much about this particular episode, the Big Mac question. My thoughts about where my girlfriend thought that Big Mac will ask the big question to Sugar Bell. And I have to admit though, it's kind of an interesting idea. Ever since we really don't know, since we really don't know much about the episode itself yet. And there is much more about the episode that could have been taken place. Like, this episode hasn't been dated yet, where hasn't been placed for what date it will take place. But I cannot say much about itself, even if I did come up with some good parts of the theory or thoughts or opinions. Of course, when the episode officially comes out with this more information, I might be very much wrong about this all. So I do wonder, will Big Mac take the time to ask her the big question, and perhaps at the end of the episode, when we're seeing them both getting married, that would be something. We haven't seen any other particular married couple except from Mayor Sunny Skies and Petunia Petals when he proposed to her in the long movie short. Yeah. So my opinion about this, that's with Big Mac could actually been asking Sugar Bell to marry her and marry him. That could not be is a much better idea. We have seen Big Mac from season 1 to season 8. Well, where he has been single all the time. He has never seemed to be any interested to be in any dates at all. So the question is, what made him to fall for Sugar Bell in the first place? And how did he even find out about her? I think that it's very likely that he heard about Sugar Bell after that Twilight and her friends had come back from home from Starlight's village. Seems very likely they had told about some of the ponies in town in Ponyville about that particular village. And it's very likely that some either Applejack told her brother about the village itself, and even told them about some of the characters like Night Glider, Double Diamond, and even Party Favor, and even Sugar Bell. And after maybe this possible, that's Big Mac went to this village for a visit and found and even saw Sugar Bell and perhaps fallen in love with her even then. And it still hasn't had enough courage to even tell her. But when he found out that he has some competition with Featherbanks, that might not surprise me that he found out he has some competition to against telling how he feels for her, felt for her. So ever since they actually became together in that episode, and a best gift ever where they celebrate the first heartwarming eve together as a couple, it seems that their relationship is getting stronger and stronger for each single day. So in that case, why wouldn't Big Mac then be able to tell her how much he really cares about her and even take the next step in their relationship by asking her the big question? I mean, if I was there, in his case, I would actually do the same thing. If I actually loved Sugar Bell that much, and if I was in Big Mac's place, I would. If I did love Sugar Bell that much as he do, I would probably take the time to figure out a way to ask her how to marry if she wanted to marry him. Like it could have been on a date or a restaurant visit or perhaps just random things. It won't surprise me if the Discord will appear in this particular episode again, because in Heartbreakers he actually did appear. No, sorry, I'm mixed up the episode, but still that Big Mac is still part of this much as an episode itself. I mean, even if we haven't seen much about season 8, when about in in the breakdown where Big Mac thought that Sugar Bell was going to break up with him. And after that, he didn't listen clearly, and he made up some thoughts about it first before even figure out to look up the fact first. Before he do that, even did that, he couldn't even believe that he thought Sugar Bell was going to break up with him for somebody else, and he took it really hard. And I believe me, believe being having the very first relationship with some pony that you will love, and you thought that that particular pony will break up with you after being together for since I don't know, few months, maybe a year or something, and then suddenly end up being leaving. I can understand how much Big Mac felt when he thought that Sugar Bell was going to leave him. I had in the past had many not so very long relationships. Most of them didn't last for long. So in that perspective, I can understand how Big Mac felt. But though in this particular episode, the Big Mac question, could it been either been meant that he's going to propose to Sugar Bell, or will it be something completely differently about something else? Like he could ask something else, like he could have been if he there is though two possibilities, or it could be many, but there is only two that I can think of. What if that he actually is going to be proposing to Sugar Bell? Or the second possibility that he is going to be asked someone else about something, like something very big. So what could that be? I have no idea. Since I mean there is literally no information to be based on this particular episode. I mean there is so much more we can talk about it. I mean I don't know how many within the fandom has been talking about this particular episode, or even between Big Mac and Sugar Bell. So at least given that as a thought, will Big Mac propose to Sugar Bell in this episode, or will it be something else that somebody want to ask him something big? I don't know. But though the question here is though, if Big Mac did actually propose to Sugar Bell, who would be the best man and who will be the bridesmaids for Sugar Bell? It is very likely that it could have been either Applejack to be the bridesmaid since, yeah, and Apple Bloom as a flower girl. But though, who would be the best man to the Big Mac? There are only two different characters that I could think of: Spike and Discord. Because we don't see much how many other male characters Big Mac hangs out with. The only two that I do know is Spike and Discord. But otherwise from that, I have no idea. But I think Spike would have been a more likely candidate as his best man. But I can go on for many longer time about talking about this particular episode. But I won't do it. I mean, that would be too much for any patient, for any of my listeners. But overall, in this particular episode, the Big Mac question, my thought is that Big Mac is going to ask Sugar Belle the big question. Even if my own girlfriend, she believes about this as well. But we can also be wrong about it. We can be it could have been asked something else. Like, Sugar Belle can ask maybe Big Mac if they should move in together or perhaps move somewhere else in Equestria, and that they leaving Ponyville. That can also be happening. I mean, who knows? But I really don't hope that will take that. I mean, we know that Big Mac is a very big part of the community of Ponyville. Like, he provides with apples to the town, and I just hope that if my girlfriend believes that Big Mac will ask the big question to Sugar Belle. How many other fans hasn't thought about Big Mac asking her the big question before season 9's even over? There hasn't been much money on so many weddings in the series itself, except from Cranky Donkey and then some back in season. I don't remember exactly what season were, but there hasn't been many weddings over that, except from Countdown Wedding. But otherwise, if Big Mac marries Sugar Belle in season 9's episode, the Big Mac question, it would be a big turnaround episode, actually. I mean, Big Mac is one of my top favorite male characters in the My Little Pony fandom. And but he doesn't speak much, like yep, nope. But he has had his moments in some parts of the episode where he actually speaks. But though, I just wonder, will Big Mac do the big question to Sugar Belle? How many fans do like Sugar Belle with Big Mac as a couple? I believe that many could be actually enjoyed it. I actually believe they are a very perfect couple. But though there is so much more we don't know much about Sugar Belle's past. But anyways, my belief in this, my thoughts that Sugar Belle will be asked by Big Mac about this particular question. But how he will do it, and when exactly in the episode, might in the early beginning, or perhaps in the middle of the episode, and that they have their wedding at the end of it. I can just say, if it did actually ask Sugar Belle to marry him, and then the wedding doesn't even happen in that episode, like if he proposed to her at the end of the episode and they haven't any wedding at all in the episode, I will be devastated. It would be amazing if it could have been like he could have proposed to Sugar Belle, perhaps some part early in the episode, or perhaps in the middle of the episode, and having the wedding almost at the end of it. I cannot say much about that, except for that I really, really, really hope that Big Mac asks Sugar Belle the big question if she wants to marry him. Though I might have not be only one who thinks that could happen. There might be some fans out there within the fandom who thinks it could be differently. Who knows? But if someone else thinks that what will happen in this particular episode, so if anyone has their opinions, their thoughts, or at least what they believe could happen in the Big Mac question, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Switch Down Bro, over and out.